it is a shooting star, obviously, and it's from Pandora. And I thought it was the cutest thing ever. I wear a lot of jewelry, mainly necklaces and hair pieces and glasses, charms. I don't wear rings and bracelets so much, but maybe I'll start. But yes, so she bought me this necklace, and I thought it was the cutest thing ever. And I thought it was the perfect name for my channel. So yes, I am now Shooting Star ASMR. My actual name is Helena, Helena. Helena. Not Helena, not Helena, not any other variation that I have heard. And I have heard every variation of my name. Because my name is Helena and my middle name is Joy. So I thought about naming myself something like Helena or like Joy's ASMR. But there were too many people with like similar names to Joy. And I didn't just want to do my first name because when it's written out, everyone always mispronounces it. So I thought I would just pick a different sort of name. And I looked it up and I couldn't find any other Shooting Star ASMR people out there. So apologies if I've stolen your name, but I don't think I have. So yeah, let's get on to the facts about me. So, first fact, I am 21 years old. 21. But my birthday's in September, so I'll be 22 in a couple months. I am a Virgo. I don't really know anything about, what's it called? Astrology. I don't really care, to be completely honest, but I am a Virgo, if that matters to you. I am going to pick questions from this list that's right behind me. My phone is propped up on my computer. And I'm gonna pick some random questions from this list of facts about myself. So yes, one of the questions is, what was the first concert you attended? So funny story. The first concert I ever attended was Taylor Swift, but I had no idea who she was at the time. I wasn't some huge Taylor Swift fan. My aunt just happened to work for some company that was sponsoring the tour, and they gave a bunch of their employees free tickets, free VIP tickets, which was a backstage tour led by Taylor Swift's mom, of all people. So it was the Red Tour, and Ed Sheeran was opening for her, and I also had no idea who Ed Sheeran was. I couldn't have been older than like 10 years old at the time, so I didn't really know who anybody was. And about a month before the concert, my parents said, well, we might as well just introduce you to her music so you know. And they bought the Red album on iTunes, and we listened to it a bunch. And to this day, I still really, really love the Red album, even though I am not a huge Taylor Swift fan. Not to say that she makes bad music. I do like a lot of her songs, but like I would never call myself a Taylor Swift fan. I just happen to like some of the songs. But to this day, I do love the entire Red album. So yeah, she was my first and second concert, Red album and the 1989 tour. And I remember having a really good time. So yeah, that was my first concert. Oh yeah, and another funny story, when we were waiting backstage for the tour to begin, Ed Sheeran rode past us on a golf cart, and I was there with my cousin, who must have been about 16 at the time, and she was a huge Ed Sheeran fan, but she was like on her phone because we were waiting there for quite a while, so she was like just on her phone, and Ed Sheeran comes by on this golf cart and says something like good luck to us or something. I guess maybe like have fun on the tour is what he meant, but he said good luck, I think, and I had no idea who this man was, and I was just like, okay. And my cousin looked up from her phone, realized who that was, and freaked out because that was like her one chance to ever talk to Ed Sheeran, and apparently she went home and cried that night. I feel so bad. She's fine now. She's a grown woman. But yes, anyways, that was my first concert. Okay. Is there something that you've never done that most people have? Oh, tons of things. I don't drink alcohol or do any sort of illegal or some song by, I want to say Wilbur Sut, but honestly, could have been another person, and I would not know. So they made me listen to some song by Wilbur Sut, I think, and it wasn't a very good song. Sorry, but it wasn't a very good song. So they made me listen to it for fun, and I don't even think I listened to the whole thing. But then Spotify Wrapped comes around at the end of the year, and I take my Spotify Wrapped extremely seriously because I mean, musical theater is what I just graduated in, but I am a musician like through and through. So Spotify Wrapped is a huge deal to me. And my number 4 genre was Dream SMP, and I was bewildered because I don't watch like Minecraft YouTubers. I don't watch gaming YouTubers. The only gaming channel, the only 2 gaming channels on YouTube that I watch are Smosh Games and Didn't Fill Games. So I have never listened to a single song by any of the other members of Dream SMP. I know a little bit about Dream SMP because my friends used to watch people from that group. But that was the 4th. I was like shocked. I guess I listened to a bunch of like adjacent musicians or musicians that fans of Dream SMP music also like, I guess. So that was my number 4 genre, and I was really embarrassed because I was like, I don't know these people. Why is it here? So yeah, that was. I crossed it out because I didn't want people to see it. I was really embarrassed because I'm not a fan of that sort of thing. Sorry if you're a Dream SMP fan. No hate to you. It was weird for that to be there. Okay, something else. Have you ever memorized something quirky like pi or all the state capitals? I mean, I feel like I have some Chris Fleming bits memorized. I steal his jokes all the time in my real life. I'm not a comedian or anything, but like he has a bit talking. I think it's from his Am I a Man video, and he says that he has the diet of a hummingbird, and he lives off of white chocolate chips and the fruit at the bottom of the fruit in the bottom yogurt cups. And I've referred to myself that way a lot in real life, and people think it's funny, and I always say that I stole it from Chris Fleming. So I guess that's sort of a quirky thing that I have memorized. That's not his only bit that I like have off the top of my head. But anyways, okay. Is there a particular holiday or season that you get excited about? Yes. I love Halloween. I love fall. I love everything about it. I have like a list of movies or TV shows that I watch when Halloween comes around, and the list is Headless, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, I think that's the full title, by Shipwrecked Comedy. It's on YouTube for free. Go watch it. It's an incredible miniseries. It's really good, really funny. I like it a lot. I also, last year, for the first time, watched Over the Garden Wall, and I was obsessed with it. So I'm gonna start watching that every Halloween. And I feel like there's more, but I'm forgetting right now. But yes, I go crazy for Halloween, which is funny because I don't watch horror movies or anything like that because I am a total wimp and I get scared really, 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 really easily. I've only ever watched 2, count them, 1, 2 horror movies in my life, and both were puzzle game, word game, or board game? Yes, I have a favorite word game. It is categories. I love categories. I love listing and naming things in different categories. I don't know why. I think I just like to. I like trivia and stuff, so I like to show my knowledge of random stuff. Have you ever visited a country that left a lasting impression on you? Okay. Compared to other people, I feel like I haven't been to that many different countries in my life. I've been, obviously, to Canada because that's where I live. And I've been to inside of Canada. I live in Ontario, but we used to go to Quebec a lot, specifically Mont-Tremblant, Quebec, which is like a resort town. And I've been to Alberta, which is like, if you don't know anything about Canada, it's kind of like the Yeehaw province of Canada. Very like if you go to Alberta, you will see some Confederate flags. So, which is it's ridiculous, frankly, especially to see that in Canada of all places. But anyways, that's to give you the impression of Alberta. But I've also been to the U.S., specifically to Florida and New York, both several times. And only in the last couple of years I actually left that region. Like, I went to Mexico. I know Mexico is still in North America, but you know, they speak a different language, etc., etc. I went to Mexico, and then last summer I went to Europe for the first time. I went to Spain and Italy, and I had a lovely time, except for when I got sick, which was not great. But to answer the question, it's not a country that had the lasting impression on me, but Alberta, I think, had the most lasting impression on me. I loved it there. The only things that I didn't like while I was there was it affected my asthma and my I have chronic foot pain, and it affected both of those quite heavily, to be honest, because of the higher altitude. So didn't love that part, but it was one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to in my life. There was mountains everywhere. We were in Canmore in Banff, and that's where the mountains are. And they were, oh my god, so gorgeous. I'd never actually like seen a mountain in real life before, and it was breathtaking. I could have stared at it all day. I miss it. Like, I miss being able to see mountains now. But yeah, I just, being in such a beautiful place like that, I had such a lasting impression on me. As you can tell, I have Banff and like Minnewaca posters. You probably can't read that, but I have those. And then on my wall across from me, I also have other Banff posters and stuff. I loved the art there. There were so many art galleries in these like little towns, and it was incredible. And I'm a huge fan of country music, and being in a place where that kind of music like is made had sort of a lasting impression on me. Just like, I kind of understood why that's the area of the world that like, that's part of the area of the world that like inspired music like that, you know? Okay, so yeah, next question is, what's the most memorable wildlife you've encountered while traveling? When I was in Alberta, when I was in Banff, we went to the top of a mountain, and I saw a mountain goat for the first time in my life. And then I think that same day I saw an elk, which are like huge. I don't know, I'd never seen anything like that before. I'd seen deer before, but yeah, I'd never seen like a mountain goat just kind of in the wild. Oh, I also think I saw a baby bear while I was there, but we were driving and it was kind of far away, and I have really bad vision, as you can tell, so I'm not entirely sure, but I think I saw a baby bear, which I've never seen before. Okay. Do you speak any other languages? Kind of. So here in Canada, we have a thing in our education system called French immersion. French immersion, which is a program that I was in, which is where subjects were in French except for religion. I went to a Catholic school. And then after that, it kind of becomes like 75 to 25, or like 70-30%, like 70% French and then 30% English. And then after a while, it becomes 50-50. So we had seemingly like, I don't know how they picked which subjects we learned in French, but science was in French, geography was in French, I think, history was in French. We also had like, you know how you have like English classes, we had like French class, French, so like a language class, and then there must have been at least one more, I think, that was in French, but yeah, those were the French classes. And so grades 1 through 8, I spoke French at school every day, but my grammar was always god awful, and my vocabulary was never the best. I'm not great with languages, but I tried, kind of. And then when I went to high school, I went to a place with a regional arts program specifically for vocal music, and there was no French immersion there, and so I stopped doing French immersion. I took one French class in grade 9. I took grade 10 French, and it was all grammar, and I was horrible, and I hated it. I loved my teacher, I just hated the class itself. But yeah, so I've kind of forgotten most of it, to be honest, which sucks. But like, I can read things and like kind of get the gist of what's going on if it's in French. But I was never great at speaking it. My dad, if you're Canadian, you'll probably get this reference. My dad says that when I spoke French, I sounded like Don Cherry, which, thanks, Dad. But anyways, I tried to teach myself Irish Gaelic for a little bit a couple summers ago, but it was really hard, especially over Duolingo. It was, yeah, I didn't go very well. Okay. What's the longest road trip you ever taken? 9 hours. That is how long it takes to drive from Mississauga, Ontario to Mont-Tremblant, Quebec. And we used to do it every summer. There and back. Have you ever visited a natural wonder like the Grand Canyon or Niagara Falls? Yes, I've been to Niagara Falls because Niagara is like an hour from where I live. So yes, I've been to Niagara Falls many times in my life. I've been on the boat. I've been like under the falls, like in the rocks behind them, I guess. I don't know. But yes, I have been to Niagara Falls, and I think that's the only like natural wonder I've ever seen, unless you count mountains. Okay. What is your number 1 bucket list trip? I need to go to Ireland. Ireland and Scotland, I need to go. Also, I'd like to go to Poland and England as well, because so my family on my dad's side is Scottish, very Scottish. Like, my aunt took a DNA test and she was like 98% Scottish, so quite Scottish on my dad's side. But I've never been, and my parents are going without me for their anniversary cruise. They're going on an anniversary cruise this summer, because they've been married a long time, and they are going to Scotland and Ireland, and just basically all over the UK, and I'm so sad that they're not taking me with them, because everyone I know who's traveled recently has gone to Scotland or Ireland, and I'm like, and all of my friends who've gone came back and said, oh, you would love it there, you would love Ireland, it's so your vibe. I know. Take me with you. So yes, I desperately want to go to Scotland and Ireland, because and England, because my mom's side of the family is English and Polish, but we're not really sure where her dad was from, and her dad's last name was Shields. Shields is an English and Irish last name, so like it's possible that he wasn't fully English. I remember once my mom said he might have also been a little Polish. I don't know. And no, I don't speak Polish because my mom never learned Polish because her dad didn't know the language, and so her mom wouldn't teach her, which, okay. I wish I could speak Polish, so I'd like to go. I'd like to go to all the places that my family is from. But I also like to go to Ireland because, you know how people are like weebs was in a new musical called Small Gods, the musical, written by Makram Ayash and Landon Doak. And I played a character called Everett, who's like kind of a stoner dude who's just like chill and happy to be there. He was really fun to play. And then we did Big Fish, and I played Zachy Price, which is like, he's a very minor character, so I was like Zachy Price in the ensemble. He's like the bully's little brother, so he's like kind of his henchman. And then we did another new work called Wild Child, and I played Phoenix, and that was probably my biggest role of the season. Phoenix was described as the mayor of the peanut gallery, but basically just like a troubled teen who like is very snarky and talks back. But I had like a solo song, which was fun. And then we did Heather's, and I played Martha, and that was really fun. So technically dancing and singing are my oldest hobbies, but I'm trying to make them my career as well as choreography. I'm a choreographer and also a composer, and I write a little bit as well. But for the last year, I have been embroidering. I do hand embroidery, which is where you like stitch things into a piece of fabric to make designs, whether it be like images of flowers or animals or stars or words. That's what I do for fun. But I kind of want to start selling them as well, because I think they're cute, and I think if I could make some money off of my crafts, that would be really nice. What's another question I can answer? Have you ever learned a unique skill like calligraphy or juggling? Yes, other than hand embroidery. I think my most unique skill is I can listen to music and write out what the music is. In music theory, like on bars and notes and stuff. I learned that in high school because I went to a music program, but I used to do violin and piano. I was really, really bad at violin and piano, but it taught me some basic music theory. But then when I went to high school, I learned quite a lot more. Yeah, I can write music out by ear. I actually recently kind of had a job doing that for my friend Emma Golden. She is a performer like me, but she's also a composer. And she wrote an entire musical called Potato Potato that is premiering at the Toronto Fringe Festival this year. So if you see this and happen to live in Toronto, go see it. But she doesn't know how to write sheet music, really. So she would record the demos of the songs and then send them to me, and I would write them out for her and send the sheet music back. So yes, I can write sheet music by ear, which is cool, I think. I can only really do it. I can't really do it if it's like multiple instruments in the background. I just mainly do the voices. If it was one instrument, I could definitely write it out as well. But like, I could also figure out the chords if I had to. But she just asked me to do the vocal line, so that's what I did. Okay, other question. I hope you can't hear that downstairs. I think someone's listening to a TikTok video on full volume, and it's driving me slightly insane, just a little bit. Do you enjoy a particular type of art, like photography or poetry? I love all kinds of art. There's only a couple art styles or kinds of art that I don't enjoy. I have huge interests in things like fashion design, photography, poetry, music writing, or just music in general, dance, performance art, devised theater. Like, show me any kind of art and I will find a way to appreciate it. I love art. My whole life is the arts, one way or another. I just drawings. Most of my drawings are not nearly as good as this. I didn't draw any of the rest of the stuff up here. It's just prints that I bought from artists like at my school or at like Renaissance fairs. So yes, I love every kind of art. I want to learn how to do all of them. I think it's interesting. I go to art galleries whenever I can. I love art. Okay. Do you play any musical instruments? I used to play violin and piano, but I sucked really, really bad. Literally. When I did my, I did 2 violin exams when I was younger. And my grade 1 exam was fine, I guess. But my grade 2 exam, I don't know how I passed. They should not have passed me because I went in there and they asked me to play a scale, and I don't even remember what scale it was. Like, to this day, I could not tell you what notes are where on a violin because my teacher would take my notebooks, my sheet music, and she would write under each note, like what finger it was supposed to be and what string it was supposed to be. So I have no idea where any notes are on the violin. So they asked me to play some scale. Let's say that they asked me to play A major. I don't remember. And I played the only scale I could remember. And they said, "Sweetie, that's not what we asked you to do. That's not A major." And very kindly, the woman was like, "It starts here." Like, she gave me a hint, and then I played it, I guess. But like, oh my god, I was not prepared for that exam. I should not have missed it. Okay, I'm gonna pick another question. I hope you guys are okay with this video being long. What is a movie or TV show you've watched more than once? I have watched How to Train Your Dragon about 1,000,000 times. It is my favorite movie of all time. Possibly my favorite movie trilogy of all time. Yeah, I love How to Train Your Dragon. I've watched Venom a bunch. I'm a big Venom fan. I actually like the movies. Don't come for me. I think they're hilarious. Okay. I also just really, really, really love the dynamic between Eddie and Venom. I find the idea of having like a part, like another being in your head that you can't get rid of, very interesting. And I really like their dynamic, and I like the themes that they explore, like the loneliness that causes but also solves. I think it's very interesting. I have weirdly wholesome reasons for liking Venom. Yeah, I've watched Venom a bunch. I have watched the original from 2003 animated Teen Titans series 1,000,000 times. I love it. I've watched Avatar: The Last Airbender a bunch of times. I've watched Legend of Korra at least twice. Do I remember what happens? Not really, specifically in Korra, but I remember the other ones. What else have I? Oh, I've watched Merlin 1,000,000 times, like BBC's Merlin. I've watched Sherlock a bunch. I'm sure there's more that I'm forgetting, but those are some of my favorites. I used to have on my iPad when I was like 12, the lock screen and the background used to be a photo of every single grief. I've yet to experience like relationships or dealing with real grief yet, but I hope when I do, I can remember the things that he talked about in those videos, because I think it will help me. And then the other artist is a band called Gang of Youths, and as much as I love their instrumental, like the instrumental, and oh my god, instrumental work in their music is truly incredible, incredibly beautiful, but their lyrics, sometimes I do think of their music as like a way of delivering their lyrics, because truly, like, everything David Leo Pepe writes, he's the lead singer, is so incredibly eloquent and well worded and interesting to me. Specifically, they have a song called Say Yes to Life, and it is my favorite Gang of Youth song ever. And I think about the bridge of the song a lot, and I'm gonna recite it for you. He says, this is only part of it, I think. Say yes to sun, say yes to rain, say yes to sticking with the city through 1,000 days of rain. Say yes to grace, say no to spite, say yes to you, say yes to me, say yes to love, say yes to life. And it's not the only part of that song that like influenced how I think about the world, but it just, there's sort of a message in a lot of their music of just like unrelenting hope, and that's kind of how I live my life. If you don't have hope, there's no point in living, and I love life, and I think that there's always a reason to have hope. So that's sort of my personal philosophy there. This video might be an hour long. Whoops. Okay, let's pick another question. Maybe we'll only do a couple more. Here's a question that I want to answer. What is something interesting about where you grew up? I am from Mississauga, Ontario, and Mississauga, Ontario is the 7th biggest city in the country. Now, it is bigger than Vancouver, and most people outside of Canada have never heard of it before. I guess because we're not like Mississauga is basically all suburbs, you know what I mean? So maybe that's why. But I personally, and this I think is an unpopular opinion amongst people I grew up with, but I love Mississauga, genuinely. I think that it's an incredible place. One, you can get any type of food you've ever thought of here. We have some like African restaurants. We have a million Middle Eastern restaurants. Like any kind of Middle Eastern that you can think of. We have a million Asian restaurants of different like Asian places, Asian countries. I mean, sorry, and Asian cultures. We have a ton of European restaurants as well. Like, you can find any type of food you want here, and that is because we must be one of the most diverse cities in Canada, if not maybe even the world. I don't know. It's just, you can find literally every type of person in Mississauga. Everyone I grew up with was either an immigrant or like the child of immigrant parents. My best friends growing up were like Indian and Nigerian and Chinese, and like my school that I went to growing up in was at least 50% POC, if not more, which I'm really glad that I experienced, because when I went to college, it was kind of like a shift for me, because the program I was in was mostly white people, and I am clearly very white. I'm Scottish, Polish, and English as far as I'm aware. And talking to a lot of the other people, I realized that growing up around such diversity was was such a privilege because most of them didn't grow up around that. Even if they were from Ontario, they were from smaller towns like Penetanguishene or whatever, where it was like mostly white people. And I am very privileged to have grown up learning about so many different cultures and different kinds of people and different life experiences. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about this city is every kind of person, and there's a million things to do here. And I personally think it's beautiful. We have some gorgeous nature here. I love the neighborhood I live in. I think the houses are beautiful. They kind of look like old English houses that you would see in like a historical time period movie. I don't know. I really like them. They almost kind of look like barns from the outside. But yes, that's something interesting about the city I live in and where I grew up. We're also right next to Toronto, by the way. We're in the GTA, the Greater Toronto area. Couple more questions. Okay, have you ever had a unique kind of pet? Yes, I used to have a bearded dragon. Her name was Shredder. We got her from my cousins when she was already pretty old by the time we got her. And she was named by like a 10 and 12-year-old boy. And they named her Shredder because they thought she was a boy. And then one day she laid eggs and they were like, oops. So we called her Shredder or Shredsy. And I liked her, but like she was really old, so she had kind of made the bonds with the people that she was gonna bond with, and she was kind of uninterested in me. So I'd like to get another bearded dragon and raise it from like a baby, because I heard about the stuff that she would do with my cousins and my grandma, who she was really close to, and I felt really jealous that she just seemed to really like them. She didn't like hate me or anything, but like I just think she was a little indifferent. So I'd like to have a bearded dragon again, or a snake. I love snakes. I like reptiles. And also I'm kind of allergic to cats, even though I think they're really cute. But I don't think I could deal. I've also had a hamster before, and I've been in houses with cats and dogs, and I don't think I could deal with the smell of having a cat and dog around all the time. It's just a smell that I don't particularly enjoy, even though I do really like cats and dogs. Okay, facts about unusual experiences. Have you ever met someone famous? Depends on your definition of famous. If you are really into indie rock like I am, and you've heard of one of my favorite artists of all time, Barnes Courtney, I've met him twice. Best day of my life. The first day I ever saw him in concert. Oh my god, it was incredible. The tickets were really cheap because no one knows who he is, and because it wasn't super expensive, I bought a VIP meet and greet ticket, and we met like in a group, and he was sitting in the center like on a stool, and he happened to have like a cold that day, and his tour bus had burnt down in America, and so it was just him doing an acoustic set, and he said he hadn't done an acoustic set in years, and he didn't know if he would even remember how to play his own songs on one instrument, because he's used to like playing a bit, but he has other guitarists with him as well. So he said he was like kind of nervous, and we met him, and I never understood the hype around blue eyes until I met this man, and he had the most gorgeous blue eyes I've ever seen on a person. Just like very piercing, like staring right to your soul. And he was really good at making sure like everyone felt like they were included. Like he made sure to like turn around and make eye contact with everyone at some point, which I thought was very good of him to do. And I was so like, oh my god, it's Barnes Courtney, because I love his music, that I was like, I didn't know what to ask. Like, it was like a question and answer thing, and I had no idea what to ask, so I just kind of stood there like, oh my god, it's Barnes Courtney. And then, so, concert happened. I met two people during the concert who were really cool. We kind of hung out, and my cousin came to the concert with me because I didn't want to, I was 19, I was like freshly 19, and I didn't want to go to Toronto by myself. graciously came with me. But they met me. They didn't have VIP tickets. They just had regular tickets. So they met me during the concert, and I like kind of hung out with them. And then when the concert was over, they were like, "Okay, we're gonna go outside." And I was like, "Okay, cool. I'm just gonna like hang out here for like half a sec. I'll be there soon." And I was talking to the new friends that I had met, and we we were like gonna get more merch at the end, and we were like standing. And at one point, he says to me, "Turn around," and I turn around, and Barnes Corney's just like there. Like everyone's left at this point except for like us and a handful of other people. Barnes Corney's just there, so we walk back on over to him, and we have like a full conversation with him. Again, I was too like starstruck to say anything. I did tell him that I named my acoustic guitar after him, and he said, and I quote, "I fucking love you." So that was cool. I have a poster with his signature on it. But anyways, I don't know why I said that in the middle of that sentence. But so I met him, we talked for a bit, and then he said, I want to go see if there's anyone still waiting outside. And he walked me out the door because I said I had to go. And so he walked me out the door. Crazy, like held the door open for me. And my cousin and her husband were still there, and I did not realize it had been an hour, and I felt so bad for making them wait. I'm so sorry, Caitlin and Kevin. I hope you forgive me. But yeah, they got to meet him too and take selfies with him, and I took a photo with him, several photos with him. And then when I saw him again in concert a year later, I took a photo with him again, and I talked to him again briefly at the end of the concert. Best day of my life. So yes, I have met, if you count him as famous, I've met someone famous. What's another one? Who did you look up to as a child? Okay, this is a good question. The closest thing I ever had to a role model is Josh Ramsey, the lead singer of Mariana Stretch. Now, one thing you have to know about me, Mariana Stretch is my favorite band of all time. I could give a TED Talk on them right now, today, like, no issue. I have done projects on them for school. I know, like, all the lore about this band, right? I think they're incredible. And the lead singer, Josh Ramsey's life has always been very interesting to me because, so when he was 16, he got addicted to a certain illegal substance that starts with an H. And you can guess from there. But so when he was 16, he got addicted, and like 2 years later or something, his parents said, "Okay, you have to go to rehab, or we're kicking you out," or something like that. And he said he would go to rehab to get them off his back. And so he went to rehab, and in rehab they made him do 2 exercises that sort of changed his life. The first one was they made him write a letter to his drug of choice, and he turned it into a song, and it's called Lover Dearest, and it is heartbreaking. And he doesn't play it live because the couple times he's tried to, he started crying, which I can't imagine how that feels, just singing something about the deepest, like darkest part of your life, when you didn't know if you were ever gonna like make it out the other end. And the other thing they made him do was they made him draw a bunch of circles, and however big the circle was meant correlated to how important that thing was in your life. Like the circles represented different things, so like your family, your friends, whatever. And they made him do a circle for the drug, and then they made him do a circle for music. And when they laid the circles on top of each other, he saw that music was the only thing that was bigger than the drug that he was addicted to. And he decided at that moment, he was like, I have to get clean because there's no way that I'll even like be alive to make music if I keep taking this. So he got clean, and as far as I know, he's been clean since then, like before Mariana Stretch even ever became a band. And artist and to do whatever I can to get there. So yes, he is sort of my role model in a way. I can answer a handful more questions and then I have to stop. Okay, or no one's gonna watch this video. Okay. Who is my most listened to artist? Over time, in total, probably Mariana's Trench. I also, my last Spotify Wrapped, it was Hosier. And 2 years before that, it was Gang of Youths both times. And I think before that, it was the Happy Fits. So I've clocked in a lot of hours listening to all of those people. I've also listened to a lot of Will Wood and the Tapeworms. A lot of, who else? Why am I forgetting my favorite artists off the top of my head? I've listened to a lot of the Grain Wives, a lot of Ren. I don't know if you guys, or if anyone else knows who that is. He's like a British like rapper slash musician, and I really like his music. Yeah, I've listened to a lot of Ren. I'm sure I'll put the other ones on the bottom of the screen because my mind is going blank right now. What's your favorite ice cream flavor? Okay. My favorite of all time ice cream flavor is Baskin Robbins Love Potion 31. I am so mad that they only have it during February, because who eats ice cream during February? It's freezing, especially because I live in Canada. It's just ice everywhere all the time, so no one wants to go get ice cream. So, okay, how many siblings do you have? I have one sister. She is 2 years younger than me. Her name is Veronica. Maybe one day I'll force her to come on here if I keep doing these. I really do want to keep doing these. Yes, my sister's name is Veronica. My parents are Robert and Susan. My sister and I got like the interesting names in the family. Like, no shade to everyone else in my family, but we all have like very boring white people names. And my sister and I are Helena and Veronica. So I think we got the fun names. She's Veronica Claire. I'm Helena Joy. No one in my life has ever called me Helena Joy, but I love my middle name a lot. And I don't know, kind of wish people would use it more. Let's do one more. Oh, what job did you want as a kid? That'll be my last question. When I was a kid, I either wanted to be a violinist or a veterinarian, which is hilarious now because I do not have the brain for medicine, nor do I want to perform surgery. I just like the idea of being around animals because I didn't have any pets when I was a kid, except for goldfish. I had like 7 goldfish, and I named every single one of them Goldie because I'm a creative person. Yeah, I wanted to do that, or I wanted to be a violinist, which I was not good at violin. That was never gonna happen. But I love classical music now. But funnily enough, my favorite instrument now is the cello. I love the cello. I try to find as many cello pieces as I can, and those are what I listen to for the most part. Not the only thing I listen to. But I also like Saint Saëns. If you know Saint Saëns, Carnival of the Animals, the Swan. Is that the cello? It must be. I love that piece. One of my favorite pieces of all time.